This is the 8th video in the 100 Days Indian Economic Service Revision Series. This examination is conducted by UPSC for postgraduate economics students. Now, in this lecture, we will see a very important topic of fiscal deficit, public debt and crowding out. This is the topic of General Economics paper 3 as well as Indian Economics paper. So we'll see mix of that. I have added a separate video about explaining each and everything with their formulas and all. But in this video, we will see from the exam perspective how much conceptual clarity you require in order to conquer this topic. Okay, so we'll see meaning, we'll see causes and economic impact. This is the most important thing, economic impact, because UPSC is concerned about this. Okay, as an aspirant, if you just copy the bookish language, you will not get marks. Okay, that's why I always tell in my Sunday answer writing classes that are live answer writing where I give questions, students write answers. I always say that the ability of recalling is the most important thing. If you don't practice, even if you practice, it's difficult to recall. And the flow of thought comes at that speed, then only you can translate that into the writing speed. So we'll see conceptual clarity because this is the only thing will go into the examination hall, as I told you in the last video as well. So here, the most important thing is that you get the concepts right here so that whenever you get a question in the like UPSC paper, the content flows in your mind automatically. Okay? Fiscal deficit, public debt and crowding out. This is very important, crowding out. Okay, always there in the news as well. Okay? Now fiscal deficit, public debt and crowding out. These are the three things that we will see. Now fiscal deficit, what it is, it's like a common definition. It shows borrowing of the government. Okay, so arises when government expenditure exceeds revenue, excluding borrowing, because if your expenses are high, like for example, your monthly salary is 1 lakh rupees, your expenses are 1,20,000. If you exclude borrowing, that shows the deficit. Okay, who will fund that? You're borrowing. And so it reflects borrowing requirement. So if government spending, suppose for example 1.2 lakhs and government is earning 1 lakh, so it reflects borrowing requirement. What's the borrowing requirement? 20,000 is the borrowing requirement. Okay. Public debt accumulates over time due to continuous borrowing. So past government also borrowed money. This government is also borrowing money. So in the future generation, it is there. Like India's revenue expenditure, you know, it means that expenditure that does not create any assets. 25% of revenue expenditure goes to interest payments only. So that actually give little fiscal space to build infrastructure or to spend on capex. So in recent years, current NDA government has done tremendously different scenes. Like what it did is, it started focusing more on capex. If you have seen my 16 chapter economic survey live session, 1 chapter per hour, I've explained how government is pushing capex, because right now it may be painful, but in the later years, it will become beneficial for our country. Okay. Reforms initially hurt. I hope you have seen that video. This topic is important in public finance, macroeconomics and Indian economy as well. Okay. Direct relation with inflation, investment and growth. I'll show you, I'll give you example connecting with inflation, connecting with investment and connecting with growth in the upcoming slides. Okay, so just be with me. For Indian Economic Survey, it is highly relevant for policy based answer, because that's the important thing. And for policy based answer, I have compiled an ebook for you. You can take that free on our support number 7880107880. And that ebook will give you clarity, what to write, what not to write, how to add data, examples, etc. Everything is there in that ebook. Okay, so you can access that by asking on the support number. Fiscal deficit and public debt. So fiscal deficit shows the gap between government expenditure and non-borrowed receipts. Non-borrowed receipt means earned receipts. So government is earning tax, government is spending that tax money. If there is a gap, government filled with borrowing. Okay. Now government may borrow from internal and external. Matlab within the country and the external sources as well. Like in India, it is 90% internal, and we can say almost 85 to 90%, and 15% of our GDP is external. Okay, so you can say that in India, if we are borrowing from abroad more, then there is a risk of rupee depreciation as well. So suppose for example, I borrowed some amount of money when the rupee rate was suppose 90 per dollar. Now I am paying back at this rate. It means for every dollar I have to pay extra 5 rupees. So depreciation creates problem and a problem for the borrower. So internal debt is borrowed from within the country, external debt from abroad. So public debt may be productive or unproductive. Productive means when you take money and build certain assets that can generate income. Like for example, government took loan and built Statue of Unity. Now people were of the opinion that Statue of Unity is a waste of money, 3,000 crores. But let me tell you, if you go to Ekta Nagar, that is where Statue of Unity is there, you will find that economy is booming, local economy is booming, tourists are flooding, and that 3,000 crore worth of investment is flourishing. So that's what we call productive. Productive for tourism purpose. If you build a highway, if you build a bridge like Pamban Bridge, and it connects Rameshwaram Island. So here the most important thing is that if you are taking loan, is it productive or unproductive? Unproductive means, suppose for example, you are taking loan to pay back another loan. You are taking loan to distribute government salaries. This is unproductive. So you have to be clear in your mind which one is productive, which one is unproductive. Like for example, you are a student, you are struggling in economics, you take coaching, that's productive. Okay, now you spend that money in buying a new t-shirt branded, that's unproductive for your career. So smallest of decision can also be like that. If you are eating good food, it's productive. If you are eating like unhealthy food like chola bhatura in the afternoon, what will happen? And you will not be able to do any productive work. So borrowing for capital formation is more sustainable than borrowing for consumption and day-to-day expenses. Let's move and understand the burden of public debt. This is the question UPSC loves. Okay, let's see. Public debt creates future repayment obligation. It means, like for example, George Bush and invaded Iraq, took a lot of loans. Repayment is coming right now in the era of Trump. Are you getting my point? Future obligation. Now Trump will take loan, will come in the future for 20 years, 30 years. So interest payment increases, revenue pressure on government, like government has to earn this much. Like for example, government rolled out GST. GST improved the base. Government added technology in income tax. So no human interference. Income tax compliance went up. Broaden the base. More people. Base means more people will contribute. So per individual the burden will be less and government will get the similar or more money. Simple. So large debt may reduce fiscal flexibility. Like for example, how it is connected with inflation, investment and public debt, fiscal deficit. How it is connected? During COVID-19, what happened? Interest rate went down, government spending went up. It means you can say that government borrowed at a low interest rate to invest in the economy, to boost the output or demand in the economy, which was suppressed because of lockdown. So what will happen? When government compete with the private sector for the same amount of savings in the economy, that's what we call crowding out effect. We'll understand that as well. External debt may create foreign exchange burden. I already told you. If you don't have foreign exchange, how will you repay? So reserves you have to maintain. Debt burden depends on size, cost and use of borrowed funds. How you use those funds. Productive use of debt can support long run growth. That's what I told. If you make the 3,000 crore statue of Sardar Patel, is generating income, people are visiting, thereby nearby area, the local economy is developing, hotels are building, restaurants are building, and gardens are building, more tourist places are there. So everyone getting employment. See, so beautiful. Now crowding out. Let me tell you a very simple truth. If, for example, everyone is moving towards mutual fund, SIP and all, nobody is putting money in the bank. If bank will feel that there are low savings, and from that low savings, suppose for example, the savings with all the government is 100 crore. Now this 100 crore fund is available to give loans. Now in this 100 crore, if this is full for private sector, Then suppose, for example, interest rate is 9%, for example, okay. But at the same time, if government comes and government says, I need to build infrastructure, I also want some money from this loanable funds or savings of the bank. Then banks will move towards government because government will now never default. This is what we assume, especially the safest option. So suppose, for example, from this 100 crore, now it goes like, for example, 60 crore to private sector and 40 crore to government sector. Here also crores. So what will happen then? This will not be available at 9%. Why? Because now the fund is less. So it may go up to 12%. And when this will go up, what will happen? Private sector will not borrow now. And this is what you can see. Interest rate goes up. And when interest rate goes up, private investment goes down. And that's how this is called crowding out effect. Another term is crowding in, where government invests first and private sector follows. Like, for example, we're building a road. Nearby road areas, you will find development is happening. That is crowding in effect, where government takes first step, private sector follows. Okay? That is crowding in effect. So let's read this properly and you'll understand what's there in the slide. Okay, let's move. Crowding out occurs when government borrowing reduces private investment. I hope now you are able to understand this. Okay? Heavy public borrowing may push up interest rates. I hope now this line is able to get into your head. Higher interest rate make private borrowing costlier. So as a result, private investment may decline. And crowding out is more likely when financial resources are limited. Okay? And in recession, crowding out may be weaker if resources are underutilized. It means if resources are high and demand is low, then this crowding out effect will be low. So here the word, the one word is very important here, that as a result, private investment may decline, because if demand is high, private investment may not decline. For example, I'm borrowing at 12%, but I'm expecting a return at 50%. I will borrow at 9% or 12%, doesn't matter, because I'm getting a return of 50% from that capital, because demand is high. So that is why the word may is important. Okay, you cannot say with certainty. Very important slide for UPSC exam perspective. Economic significance. That's where the question comes, and you have to write in your answer as well as in conclusion, introduction, whatnot. Okay? So moderate deficit may support growth during slowdown. So when there is slowdown in the economy, government should push towards it. That's why you see in every tier 2 city development is going on. So flyover is building, some metro is building, although that metro is not very useful right now because they are not like launching the metro project almost like a web. And they are just running metro from one place to another place. So nobody is preferring, but yes, that's a good start. Persistent high deficit. Like for example, since COVID-19, deficit was almost 9%. In 2021-22, it went down to 6.7%. Now it is under the range. So that can create inflation and debt stress. That is why persistent high fiscal deficit is dangerous. And that is where FRBM Act also comes in. Fiscal Responsibility Budget Management Act of 2003. Okay. Now public debt must be assessed along with the growth and the quality of expenditure. It means you are taking debt. It's good. It's bad. Will be assessed on the basis of the uses of that fund. Okay. Productive capital expenditure can justify borrowing. So if you are building something like building a new parliament, okay, for example, people were criticizing why government is building the new parliament, 450 crore or pata nahi kitna sara kuch tha. Now a new parliament will have more space for the MPs to have discussion, modern infrastructure, more safe. Remember 2002 parliamentary attack, more security, and where the joint session can also be easily conducted. So this is important, this is productive. Okay? Fiscal discipline is necessary for macroeconomic stability. Discipline, fiscal discipline. Government is having fiscal discipline. That's why we cannot criticize. If current account deficit is also there, fiscal deficit is also there, and government investing in making a new parliamentary building, then that's a problem. Like for example, rupee was depreciating in the month of November. And in the month of November 2025, the depreciating rupee helping exporters getting more value because of tariff. They have faced extra cost, So government or RBI let the rupee to depreciate. They did not control, they did not do much. But in the month of February, March, so cut to Feb, March, now India is more worried about imports, because if depreciation is too much, it will hamper imports, which is like almost necessity, oil, LPG, gas, etc. So these are the things. So good public finance balances growth support with sustainability. Okay? I hope you understood this video. This is the 100-day series, so do follow. And the answer writing booklet you will find on this number. Plus, I have compiled a psychometric test. 10 minutes it will take, 55 MCQ question, absolutely free. Will give you a real mirror of your preparation level. Okay? Don't forget to subscribe. See you tomorrow. Jai Hind.